actual goal. I'm talking about people who try to use this as a way of trying to migration purposes and things like that. When you take in general the people who are in this business, in general, how many of these kids who go actually achieve their core target?
Well, it's a very difficult question to answer because we do not have exact statistics from coming from those countries, and I just don't think the Sri Lankan government is also able to keep any statistics of that nature. Well, the thing is,
because now visa procedures has been very tight in some
visa
countries
procedures
since of late. Is it not the same reason?
Yeah, it is. I think very much so, because when students go with ulterior motives of not really being genuine, but somehow, in the sense, some of them, of course, do a thing like this. They want to see whether they could work and earn. Especially in the Western countries, you are allowed to work 20 hours a week during the term time and full time during vacation. So now they want to exploit this situation, and they want to earn their way through, right? Also trying to study. So they are genuine in that sense, but they think that they can do all this, and in most cases it's very tough because you may not be able to really earn your living and your tuition fee. The living, yes, you may be after some time, little by little, as you get into the system of the country without violating the laws of that land, which no one should do, right? And then to fund further is actually a little too ambitious. I would say that the parents definitely have to fund the student for the first year if possible, and then the course fee bear on. The student, if he is capable and without harming his studies, if he can earn his living in the right way, that would be a good challenge for both parties, the parents.
Mr. Abeysekera, the foreign study involves a lot of money. Now this is the same revenue that is earned by our very own Sri Lankan tea pluckers and mothers who work as housemaids and in the garment sector. As a institute with social responsibility, if you see or if you come across a case which is not workable, which is not practical, or you see there is no how do you process the case thereafter?
Well, how I would see is, first when I talk to a student, or maybe my wife, who is also the main person, plus some of our counselors also, I have to be a father first, right? I mean, not look at a business or any other thing, right? Because this is a child, just like my own child, right? How best can I give him the proper advice? So once I have cleared that part of, especially the ones who are not that focused, who are floating around, right? And also may not be coming from that affluent backgrounds. Then I become the representative, joining the student with the university after deciding which country we should go to and what type of course we have to do. So there we facilitate getting the letter of offer and the other necessary documents for us to process the visa. Thereafter, the third section, then we guide them through the process, for which we don't charge any money, and however much we talk hours sometimes, we do not charge consultation fees, which normally if you look at any other profession like a lawyer or a doctor, they would definitely charge by the hour or whatever. So here we do not do that. And thereafter, what we do is to then finally, when the file is ready to go to the visa office, we have to look at it. I have to then assume the role of the third role of being a visa officer, looking at it from that country's angle as a visa officer, to see once again whether there are any areas where this student might get into an unwanted situation and become a social problem to himself as well as to the country of that country, and then naturally it will become a problem to our country as well. So this is where we have to be very clear in our guidance and very nicely advise them, don't try it right now because of this situation. Be patient, not that you can't go. Your goal can still be achieved, but maybe the path can now deviate a little bit. Rather than directly going there, you might have to go to another country or do a little more here and then save that amount of money. In the meantime, you are giving time for your parents to accumulate money and then go for that 1 or 2 years, still get that final exposure. So that is something that we have to do.
So how is the reaction? How do you manage parent pressure in
well, it again is quite a tough thing at times, right? I mean, the lesser privileged ones or the lesser mortals, for that matter, would like to listen to us because naturally they think that we know and they are happy to take our guidance. As the social strata goes up, unfortunately, all our people are generally quite egoistic in there, right? So they also think that they know. Of course, they know their own fields, but sometimes they do not know the other fields, or they know little less. So, but then some of them of course would argue, why is it like this, why is it like that. I mean, argument, some of it this I will also accept, right, because there is right arguments. But the thing is, each country has their own policies. Some of them have gone through parliament. So the visa officer at times is helpless, right. He or she has been given very clear guidance on what to look at and how to look at each and every applicant who is coming, who can be a potential illegal immigrant. So they have to look at it from their angle. So this is something that the parents at times don't understand, right, because they get subjective without being objectively looking at it. So that's where the problem is. Then we have to very nicely try to tell them, just hang on, listen to us. Shall we work as a team, right? You, the child, and myself, and then we will try to come. I'm not by trying to do any sort of devise any fraudulent documents, but we do have the necessary things. Only that, like a jigsaw puzzle, now it's scattered. So we have to get the correct picture. Yeah.
Basically, any parent's dream is to educate their child for a better future. But unfortunately, we have heard stories of very unfortunate instances where even sometimes our local students who go there losing their lives. Is there a system, or is it does it prevent you as institute which is representative to further investigate even after you send the child there, to have a progress analysis done, or to be in touch with the parent? Is it something which prevents in the system itself, or is it something that
it's like this? Most of these countries, especially the Western countries, and even some of the countries like Singapore and Malaysia, we are sending students, has this rule, that once a student enters and he registers, then he becomes a student of the university. He is considered as an adult. So thereafter, all the dealings are with the student, right? If there's a problem, they are supposed to come and talk to them, and the university also will directly confront them and tell them what is wrong with the student, and try to guide him in the right direction. They have various checks and balances, and also advisory groups, mentors and all types of people who are there, which sometimes our students don't make use of, unfortunately, right? But we as representatives, our role ceases when they register and finish. Not only us, even the parents sometimes are not allowed to get any information because of the laws that are sort of confined to privacy. So the student is considered as an adult, and the parent cannot know what your results are unless he or she expressly gives in writing that you may let my parents know what, otherwise they can't. So this is where, but then if there are problems like that, and if the student contacts us, or if the parent tells us, we can't guarantee, or we have no authority or clout, so to say, to push that through, but we could still use our good officers with the international office. Beyond that, we don't have connection, not with the faculties, but with the international office. If there is any possibility of supporting and helping them, by all means we will do it. I mean, that's our moral obligation. But there are limitations, because thereafter our role actually has ceased. So that's
I mean, talking to you this far, it's perfectly understandable that you are like a father figure for people who come to your services. I have heard about now when you come once again for in education, it's a very expensive affair, and which is affordable by only the fortunate ones. But you have a system where you have a passion to help the less fortunate ones, and that was the very reason that you incorporated the Apeksha scholarship scheme. Could you tell us what this is?
Actually, we started this thing called the Aspirations Education Foundation, which actually I started on my mother's 89th birthday. She's now nearing 92. And at the moment we have over 100 odd students who are benefiting on a monthly basis, where we have got their parents to open an account on their behalf, or the guardians, and we have divided it to 3 sections called year 2 to year 5, year 6 to year 8, and then year 9 to year 13, and there we give rupees 500, 750 and 1250 gradually as they go up the path. Every month. And if now this is out of the income that we get, right? I mean, we don't charge any money from the income from the universities that we get. So this is where I think if students go through us while they progress on their career, so indirectly they are helping their lesser privileged brethren. Why I thought of doing this is, one thing is because of the social duty that we have. I am not a fan of this word called CSR, or social responsibility, which everyone seems to be a very fashionable word nowadays. What I see the difference is, responsibility can be sort of, given up, or you can shirk responsibility. But when it's duty, you have to perform your duty. Now you look after your mother and father one day, not because you are going to nirvana or to heaven, or you are not expecting anything in return.